This series of bonus podcast episodes were taken from my 9-hour live stream on the 15th of April 2020. I interviewed 16 speakers back to back whilst on lockdown from the coronavirus pandemic, and I thought I would edit them just for you. Hope you enjoy and stay safe, my friends.
Hello, you all right?
How you doing? You okay?
I'm good, yeah. Look, I couldn't find my Carpe Way t-shirt, so now I'm just wearing Today's the Day.
Today's the day. It is indeed. Today is the day. April Fool's Day. And have you done any pranks?
What, on myself? I pranked the cat. To be
Oh.
honest with you, this morning's consisted of me unblocking the toilet.
Okay. Well, considering it's just you in the flat, then it's your fault, isn't it?
I know. So I pranked myself by having to unblock the toilet, which was, it's an ongoing problem. Not my problem, the toilet.
Okay, we're moving swiftly along. You're a bit of a rock star because everybody who has been commenting on today wanted to see Sarah Crimmens.
Oh, I don't know why I'm laughing. That's so lovely.
No pressure, my friend.
Have you told everyone? I have listened to quite a few of these. You haven't said it to everyone yet, have you?
Oh, of course I haven't. Not at all. I'm just looking through some of the comments. There's our Katie. She's a fan of Coconut Water as well. What else have we got? Alfie Joey said Richard was fantastic. I thought you should be at work, Alfie. You should be on the radio by now. No? God, it's 11:30.
Multitasking.
He's done.
Ah.
Look at you, everyone, saying hi to you.
Hey, Julie.
So, what's going on? What have you been talking to Richard about? What have I missed?
Well, I just thought I was telling him how great I thought his interview with you was, because it absolutely was. And it's so, it's like you've done it on purpose, and it's like his stuff segues really seamlessly into my stuff. So
let's have it.
Total
what we're going to talk about today?
So, well, he was talking about journaling, and a lot that came into journaling was about gratitude as well. And, I'm like the gratitude queen. I've got like my 5-minute journal here.
Same one as Richard.
Yeah. That's how I got started. But I also, I've got all my journals here, like fancy smancy ones. I've got loads of them. Like, I write about different things. And I track different things as well. And one thing that I've been tracking recently, I track a lot of emotional stuff. So it's not just achievements that have happened with my days. This, we've had a lot of talks about the kind of things that I help people with. And it can be a lot to do with emotions, because that's often what's underneath whatever the surface problem might be. Like you've got a problem with your job, or you've got a problem in a relationship, or whatever it is. Like it could seem like one thing, but it's actually, we can work on ourselves underneath that, and we can solve whatever those problems are. So I track emotions. I'm also doing an amazing course that my fantastic sister is running at the moment called Find Your Flow, which is not so relevant to you, although guys have cycles as well.
Hang on a minute. Is that your sister who did yoga with us at Startup Week a couple of years ago in the bar?
Yeah.
We were all like,
exactly, warriors. And yes, go for it.
She's cool.
Check out my muscles.
Look at them guns. I've been seeing you post on Facebook. You've been deadlifting all sorts. You're a rock star. You're great. Anyway, back to your sister. Come on, let's have it.
So little plug for my sister first, because she is absolutely amazing. On Instagram, she is We Are Curious Souls. And this course that she does is basically, it makes total sense. Like when we look at the environment around us, we've got seasons and cycles. So we've got spring, summer, autumn, winter, and they go throughout the year. And then for women, and I would also attest this as for men as well, we've got a cycle that goes through a month as well, in terms of periods. And so what we're doing in this course is tracking how we feel during different cycles, because we also have these inner seasons throughout our month as well. So like we're in an inner winter when we're on like our bleed, which is like, we're kind of, you'll know this from like being in interactions. Oh, my cat's joining us. You've got a daughter, you've got a wife, like we can be a little bit uncomfortable. We just want to kind of comfort ourselves and like huddle up. And then we get into different seasons like summer, where we want to be out there and expressing ourselves and doing really great things. So I've been tracking those things, and it's been really interesting because we do have themes that go through a month, and we can orient our work, our relationships,
Okay.
these seasons as well. Because when we know how we are emotionally, we can avoid certain things and we can really run towards certain things as well. So for me, I'm great doing like new projects and stuff in my inner summer. And in my inner autumn, my critic is going 10 to the dozen. So that's when it's
really?
Yeah, that's when it's not a great time to start things. So
like but you must be like aware of that. So because you know that now, you're more aware of it. So when stuff happens, you know why it's happening. You know why you're feeling that way, and you know when you're more productive or why you're responding that way. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And I can do it the other way as well. I can be proactive and I can anticipate what might happen, and therefore like don't have like a big negotiation with a client or
really?
When I'm in my inner winter, because I'm just going to be like, oh, I just want to be at home. Like,
yeah.
It's different for everyone, and it doesn't. As my whole life is, it's not linear. So you can kind of chop and change, and you can be in transitions as well. So it's not like a straight line thing of like, now I have 7 days of inner spring, and then I go seamlessly into inner summer.
Okay.
It can bounce around a little bit. And obviously we're in a time now where things are completely unpredictable. Everything's really unsettled. So this is when our cycles can kind of wobble a little bit, and different things can come up as well. So we can use this as like a basis, as a foundation to work with, but there's always going to be kind of environmental factors that might influence it as well. And you can't anticipate those. So
I've never even thought of that. So did you say that guys can have something similar?
Yeah, I mean, guys have an inner cycle as well. You just don't have the physical effects. You don't have the bleed necessarily, but definitely relationships I've had, not just romantic relationships, but with friends as well. I've noticed when, someone's on the period, that I often have had guys be on your period because you're a bit, and you might be, but you're a bit like, well, I'm not going to tell you where I am now because you're using that as a negative against me. But I've definitely noticed at certain points in a month, like as a theme, a guy can be maybe a little bit on a bit more of a short string, or like a tempered, and it's so now you're probably in your inner winter and you may be feeling a little bit frustrated, and it's these things can just come around. Or again, you might just want to be inside a little bit more, whereas if you're in your inner spring and you're kind of getting ready to start stuff, you're a bit more like, oh, now's a great time for me to start this new project. It might even be with you'd be like, now's when I want to record loads of podcasts, because you're in that inner spring, inner summer kind of side of things. Whereas an inner autumn is when you're kind of planning more to hibernate, and then you're in a winter is more when you are hibernating a little bit more. Sometimes you can't help it and you've got to do stuff in times that you don't want to, but that's when it's just like, well, acknowledge how you're feeling and be like, I'm just going to deal with this as best I can. I'm not optimum, but it's still doable. You're not, even when you're in your inner winter, you don't have to be inside and under a duvet the whole time.
You've given me permission to feel that way, because it is like doing a podcast every week. It is quite a commitment, and sometimes I'll miss a week or two because I just don't feel like it, or just pretty much that is because I just don't feel like it. So I guess that's my winter. I just think I just don't want to do it.
Well, this is how I feel about. I mean, it's an energy thing as well. So like I'm tapped into a lot of spirituality, which is really helpful for me in terms of like my faith in things and my belief structure. And this has been a complete game changer for me. Like I've not always been spiritual. I've always been open-minded, but I used to be like, when someone mentioned God, I'd be like, don't thrust your religion on me. I don't want to hear anything about this. Whereas now, especially in times like these, I found that it's actually just believing in myself, and the God that some people talk about feels like it's outside of themselves, but for me it's very much inside. And I believe in the universe and everything happening for a reason. And when I'm looking at energy stuff, this is back to my point, I do card readings as well to help people get through anything that they're kind of struggling with, or if they need just a little bit of guidance. I do like 1 card readings just for fun, they're free, and then there's kind of paid for services afterwards if you want to do like a bit more of a consultation. But for that, my energy needs to be in the right place, otherwise it doesn't work. It just doesn't work. So and now timing is everything, and I really believe that when we do things, we always do things at the right time. So we might be saying, why haven't I done this thing yet? Like I need to do this thing. And for me with a card reading, this has happened so many times. I've been like, why haven't I pulled this card for someone? Like I should have done it 3 days ago. And then I'll pull it and they'll feedback, oh, this thing's happened. And I wouldn't have had the same message had you done the card reading 3 days before. And it relates specifically to this. So we have to just trust.
You know, I was just saying to Richard before that I'm hugging too many trees lately, and you know, I totally accept that that things happen at the right time that it was meant to happen, and I don't beat myself up about it. It is what it is, and sometimes you can't force it. But I think sometimes you look back, and you think, that's why it didn't happen then.
Exactly. Or you'll be going through shit. Like you'll be going, oh, am I not sorry? You'll be
too late. It's out.
You'll be going through a really tough time, and you'll be thinking, why is this happening to me? Especially if it's something that feels like it's happened before. Like I know for me, like with meeting a guy and they're not the right guy, it's like, why is this guy come along again? Like a different guy, but whatever. It's there for a reason. It's there to teach you something, and you obviously, when things repeat, it's because you haven't learned the lesson yet. And I really feel like as humans, we really need to feel the pain of whatever it is. I'm totally agreeing with Katie here. Sorry, Ian, you can't have too many, please.
Do you agree with Paul here, though?
Oh! Oh, thank you. Yeah, I put these on specially. To be honest, I was listening to all the podcasts. I was still in my pajamas, and I was like, I was trying to find my Carpe Away t-shirt, but I couldn't. Anyway, this important point. As humans, we need to feel a certain amount of pain before we learn the lesson. And that really sucks because it actually really hurts. And so many of us push away the pain, and we're pushing away the learning because it's too much. And this is what I fear. I don't fear. I just know, and I acknowledge it's happening at the moment. We've all been given this unbelievable invitation to slow down, like really slow down, and in some ways stop. Not work, not be outside our homes, not be seeing people. And I know a lot of people are going to be struggling with this because we've never had to sit with emotions that are coming up, and it feels really icky and really uncomfortable. And most of us don't know what to do, and we really don't want to face these things. So there'll be a lot of people drinking loads. There'll be a lot of people sleeping in loads. There'll be a lot of people doing loads of drugs because they'll be like, well, this is what I do when I'm at home. And trying to, the only kind of like numbing technique that we can't use is well, maybe we can. It's like going out and having sex with loads of people because we're not meant to see people. But, you know, as one of my friends made the good point the other day, people still want to have sex when this kind of stuff goes on. So kind of competition and stuff goes up, but never mind. My point is, it feels icky. It can feel very, very painful. And now we have this perfect opportunity to actually sit with what is already inside of us and unlock it so we can let go of any pain that's actually there. Because
there's you getting told off by Richard, look.
I mean, that's not the worst I could say. That was quite mild.
It was. But, you know, you're talking there about routine. Barbara's just said there about she's doing yoga. I think I've mentioned a few other people might be now doing exercise. People are starting to change. So, yes, they might do the drinking and that kind of thing. But actually, I think this is also try to change people's routine. And we're just talking to Richard there about, I think it takes 21 days to make a habit, and you might be able to talk about that. People are doing that. And obviously, I had a bit of a bad time recently when I was in hospital. And then you added me to your 21-day meditation group, and I was lying in hospital doing that meditation, which really helped me. And it just came at that right time. You literally added us when I was in hospital, and then for the 3 or 4 days in hospital, I was doing that, and it was great. So people are learning new routines, such as yoga, such as meditation. So there is good things coming out of this.
100%. And it's so interesting that you say this. I'm so pleased you're part of the meditation group. You know, the people who are in it have said exactly the same thing, not necessarily that they were in hospital at the time. And I'm so pleased that you're better now. Like, it's such a scary thing to happen when things like that come up for health. But so many people have said that, and it's the same for me, that I got added to my meditation group. It came at the perfect time.
Cool.
I was ready and I was able to commit to it. It was like the last day of my holiday that I got added to a group. And then a couple of other people, one girl, day 0 or day 1, I don't know whether I shared this in the group. She messaged me behind the scenes and she said, Sarah, I've just joined your group, and today I've been given a £777 tax rebate, and I've just won 200 quid on the races.
Yeah. You did share that, yeah. I was inspired by that, but I've won nothing.
Oh, well, you've won all the, the love and the gratitude of the people on these interviews.
You're right.
But back to these healthy habits as well that you're talking about. This is like exactly perfect opportunity for this as well. Like I've said, the flip side, which is maybe the more negative side, but we can move towards these healthy habits, and it does take 21 days. And in terms of what I do, and I know a lot of people know me from Newcastle Startup Week, which is lovely, but I'm also a coach, and I'm here to hold people accountable and to help you get into these healthy habits as well. So I've done a talk about this already. I think, was it Founders Friday? And it was about the different things that we need to create in our lives to build this really solid foundation, because we've now got this chance to really start from the bottom and build a really solid foundation, so that when we get back to normal or move to the new normal after the virus is cleared, we can jumpstart, we can kickstart anything else that we want to do. And these things, like I was saying at the beginning with Richard, these things are not complex. They're really simple, but they're not necessarily easy. So it is stuff like sleep, it's food, it's drinking enough, like eating the right foods for you, not what other people tell you. You don't have to be vegan, you don't need to, whatever it is, it's right for you. But it's, leafy vegetables, making sure that you're getting enough vegetables, like really sustenance, nourishment. Water, drinking enough water, at least 2 liters a day. Exercise, as you were saying, movement. And like, I know I was terrified, because I love going to the gym, and like nothing suits me more than like deadlifting and going on the rower. And I was like, I am going to become a potato at the end of this. Outside, I don't know what to do. So for me, it's been about organizing a new home workout routine, which has actually been really fun. And because I've got more time, because I'm just it's been good to do that. But also yoga, I mix up my like cardio stuff and like the intense workouts with yoga as well, because that, I'm just realized I haven't taken one in a while. We need to do the breathing too. Exactly, like filling our air with lungs. And like, I'm getting so excited about what I'm talking about, I realize that I don't take a breath very much.
Well, should we all pause now and take a nice deep breath together?
Everyone all together now. 3, 2, 1.
Thanks. Well,
a great vagal breath, actually, which is
let me throw that at you from Roy. Look,
how do we slow down and not feel guilty? Interesting. Okay, so guilt comes from a feeling of like disappointing others or doing something to other people. So I'm wondering what the context of the slowdown is. What else would I say about that? How do we slow down and not feel guilty? I mean, in slowing down, you're most likely helping yourself first, and in turn then helping other people. So whatever it is you're feeling guilty about, whether it's, I'm not sure what the context might be. What could you feel guilty about? Maybe not seeing someone, or maybe not calling them back, or not feeling like you can talk to someone at one time, or
I don't want to speak for Roy, but I know I certainly do this, and I've touched upon it about an hour ago, is if I'm not really battering that hamster wheel and doing, I feel guilty. And what I touched upon is, I've got so many business books, but like Richard, people send me books to say, can I come on the podcast, that kind of thing. And if I'm reading that book, I'm not doing something productive.
Oh, but isn't the book the productive thing?
Yeah, I know that, but tell me that, you know what I mean?
Well, I think in that case, like another thing which is on my list, I've got, I think it's 6. Yeah. The first thing that I do with I'm thinking wasting time. So here is a mindset shift, Roy. You're talking about wasting time. If you are slowing down, letting your system recalibrate, breathing, reading, resting, letting your body rejuvenate, that is not wasted time. That is the most efficient use of time you can possibly do. And at this time right now, we are so used to, everyone has been out in the world running on this hamster wheel, like you're saying, Ian, burnout, feeling exhausted, constantly feeling like you're disappointing people, all these things, you're just keeping on running. You're not giving yourself a chance to actually rectify any of it. So the slowdown is the most important thing that you can possibly do. Take that pause. Imagine this massive red button. Hit it. Take the pause. It's kind of been enforced on us now.
Yeah.
And then have sit with yourself. Difficult, not necessarily easy, and be like, what are my priorities? All clients that I work with, and friends and family as well, I've been doing this for years. The first self-help book I ever read was Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway.
Okay.
And, there's a grid. You draw like a box. Everyone can do this like now or afterwards actually. And it's got 9 boxes within this box, like a grid.
9?
And you put, 9 little mini boxes. In those boxes, you put the things that matter most to you. So that will be things as categories. So for me, it would be family, friends, a romantic relationship. I often put sex in there as well because I sometimes see that as separate. Health for sure, but I suppose that splits into different things for me. So that would be food, exercise and movement. Spirituality is really big for me. And then for other people, whatever kind of hobbies that you have. So it could be like running, or you might do martial arts, or creativity is big for me. So I'd have something in there like creativity with, at the moment, I'm like really yearning to paint, like really get like paint.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I think that's really crucial for now, creativity, because it gives our mind, our brain that's on overdrive, a rest, and it gives the other side of our brain a chance to really flourish. And it means that we're still using our brain, so you don't need to feel guilty about not doing anything. You are doing something, and it's not about the result of what you're creating, it's about doing it for the pleasure of it, and you're actually resting and letting your system recalibrate as well. So the grid is about priorities, and with my clients, I always then pick one of them and be like, right, let's focus on that. So say if it's romantic relationship, it's like, right, okay, we can't do anything about that other person, but we can do something about how you relate to them, how you feel about it, and how you communicate with them. So let's work on that. So yeah, that 9-box thing is always really good for me, because then I do like a tick for the ones that seem fine. So at the moment, like
good.
Family's good, and health's good, and then something that might need work on. Say, sorry, I didn't mention career in that, which is really important for me as well.
Yeah, that's
Maybe like I don't have as many clients as I want, or something like that. So that could be an area to focus. And then I've got like a squiggly line when something's like in the middle and it's all right. So yeah, nature's another thing as well. Getting outside. I know we can only go once a day, but make the most of it.
So do you recommend people do that 9-box grid thing then?
Yeah.
A little takeaway for people?
Yeah, it just puts things in context. And I also wanted the 9-box grid is a really good place to start. I'm wondering whether I've got one. I do them all the time. I used to just do one and be like, all right, well, that's it. And then I realized actually I need to do these like intermittently, because they change. Oh, here we go. Here's one. Like I just draw it in my book like that.
Okay, yeah, cool.
So, yeah, for me, like before it was health, I had a big star next to it, because that was where I needed to focus. I needed to focus more attention on self-care. And what do I need in this time? This might be a really good pointer for everyone, actually. When you're thinking about, what do I do now? I'm bored, or I need to do something. Think about asking yourself, what do I need in this moment? Not what do I want? What do I need? Because what I want might be, I want to just click at the television. But inside, I might actually be saying, I need to drink some water, or I need to have a bath, or actually I need to maybe have a nap, whatever it is. So needs over desires. Exactly, hydration. I need to,
exactly.
Good yeah, I also wanted to offer out like a 15-minute little consultation call. I know everyone's at home, so
that's cool.
If anyone wants to do a little 15-minute consultation call to see if you want to delve deeper into any of this and see if we want to work together, then I'd love to do that. Just contact me. I've got like Matt at handle there on Instagram and Twitter as well.
Have you? Oh, fantastic! And you just have a quick a chat online, or
we can message if you want, or we can have like, it would probably be better if we talk, just because message take a bit longer. So if we just have a phone call, we can do like a little Zoom chat, or if we just do old school on the phone, we can do phone to phone thing. Just
good stuff.
If that helps, and we can see if there's anywhere that I can help. For me, it's about, I can give you tips and tricks and stuff. I'm not going to make you feel necessarily like all of your problems are going to go away. That's not what a coach does, and I'll never tell you that I will do that. But I will be someone to give you the advice, give you the suggestions. It's up to you to implement them, but I will hold you accountable. And I find that that's often what people need. It's someone to be like, how are you getting on with this? I'm here to support you. You know, like, how far along are you? Doesn't matter if you're not progressing as much as you want. Sometimes it's about actually just being still and silent and not doing anything, which is actually...
You make me smile.
Aww.
I'm just nodding away inside. We are so aligned. It's so good. It isn't. I'm really happy. We've had we've had the chance to bring you to all the viewers here, because you're talking absolute sense. The comments are brilliant. Everyone's loving the ideas and stuff. So thanks so much for joining us today, Sarah.